Hi, it's Ernie again, and another one of our preaching in the real kind of homily sermon kind of adventures. We did this last summer, and then I stopped. Life was getting a little busy and was running out of time. And it's just kind of interesting how this past week had a couple people ask, where is this preaching on the real thing, and how they enjoyed the other ones. And well, let's just go and walk in the reel and just see what we can see. I'm going to have a few musings about scripture this week. I've been starting to do some sermon prep and was looking at the scripture this morning. That's what I tend to do, is look at the scripture readings on Monday and Tuesday, and maybe scribble down a few thoughts. And as the week progresses, do some reading in some of the religious books and so on. And what a beautiful day out here. Look at that blue sky. I was wondering if we would see any birds out here or not. Anyways, I do a little bit of research on the what some of the other church fathers said about the scripture lessons, and get an idea what to preach about. But anyways, this whole Facebook thing and social media is kind of taken off in the church, and I'm kind of really impressed with the numbers of people that follow and how many people we have from all over the place. I heard there's people in California, Florida, some people in Finland that are following us, as well as the local area. So we're reaching out to a lot of people from around the world. Just kind of interesting how the world has shrunk in a lot of ways, I guess, to say. And it's kind of nice that people are looking to Atwood Presbyterian, trying to make sense of the world and the mess we're in right now. And but it's a lot of different perspectives on things, and that's kind of where the scripture lesson is going this week. And how you have something that happens and you change your perspective on things. I had a little reading in one of the Presbyterian magazine, or I guess it's a newspaper actually, and one of the ministers in the Presbyterian church, he kind of made the comment that we always think that Jesus was a carpenter. He was the son of a carpenter, and usually people follow in their father's footsteps. But he made the comment is that Jesus talked more about farming than anything else in his vocation. And he was kind of speculating, well, maybe Jesus was a farmer and wasn't a carpenter. There's no mention in there about measuring twice and cutting once, or life is like getting your thumb smashed with a hammer, those kind of quirky little comments that would have came from the trade. And it makes you kind of view the scripture in a slightly different way, but that doesn't really detract from the truth that Jesus was God himself come to earth. I can hear a dog in the background. He's not too happy with me. I think I'm maybe encroaching in his territory. Or maybe he's just saying hi. I don't know. Depends on your perspective, I guess. But it's one thing that is important when we're reading the scripture is to gain a perspective of what's going on in the world. And I know myself, I was following CNN news, when the political situation was unfolding. Well, I guess it's still unfolding. And I thought to myself, I got to keep an open mind. I got to see what else is out there. And so I followed Fox too. And so I had these two different perspectives. So I had the CNN and Fox News. And it's very, very interesting when you look at a story, how two different networks with two different political views, different, maybe you could say one's liberal, one's conservative, how they can interpret the same story and come to a very, very different conclusion. And so, yourself, you have to be kind of look at the one, look at the other, and kind of make up your own mind. And I think quite often the truth is somewhere in the middle. So anyway, that's why I was back here behind the church, because there's a perspective of the church that we really don't see very often. And I'm always curious about a little window up top. I'd love to climb up into the attic someday and just see what's up with that little window. You know, you can almost think that there's a little secret room or something up there. Who knows? Maybe some secrets. Archival material. Who knows? But when I talk about these different perspectives, I think that's why it's important that we view the perspectives through the scriptural perspective. And, trying to find enlightenment through Jesus' teachings, how we are to respond as Christians in the world, how to make sense of what's going on. Because, there's a lot of challenging things going on, and these challenging things are, challenging people's faith, rattling them. And it's kind of nice to have a place like Atwood Presbyterian where we can come and study the scripture together, encourage each other in our faith journey. So anyways, this week's lesson is on Jesus and Peter and that mountaintop experience. Remember, Jesus goes up to the top of the mountain. Peter and some of the disciples are there. And Jesus is transformed in front of their very eyes. And Peter wants to maintain that mountaintop experience. And I was thinking, isn't that appropriate for this mountain pile of snow we have here? So I'm going to climb up, hopefully not fall, because it is slippery. See if we can make it to the top of the mountain. Pretend we're like Peter and Jesus climbing to the top. But you get a very, very different perspective of the world. And of course, the problem that Peter had is he wanted to stay at the top of the mountain. And there's our dog. You see him over there on the porch, sitting there looking at us. Beautiful husky, barking at us. Anyways, Peter wanted to stay at the top of that mountaintop experience. And I think you could say it was kind of a very close, thin spot, kind of that Celtic theology that there's thin spots where you can almost touch God. And apparently, one of my colleagues was saying is that mountaintop today, where they think that Jesus had that transfiguration, they actually built 3 little chapels up there. And so he was kind of laughing at that, thinking that just seemed kind of ironic when we're preaching against it, and yet we as Christians go ahead and build those mountaintops. Anyways, that kind of reminded me of, we really want to bottle up that experience and just keep it. Maybe you've experienced those mountaintop experiences yourself in life. I remember when our second child was born, Leslie and I were old parents at this. We're old hats. And so anyways, there's another couple in there, and first time baby, and it was a little baby girl, and the dad was so excited. He was having one of those mountaintop experiences, and he was going on that, his beautiful daughter, and I'm not being sarcastic at all. It was a beautiful moment for him. But he says, my beautiful girl, whatever she wants in life, I'm going to get it for her. And my wife, Leslie, was saying, when she turns 16 and wants a brand new Ferrari, are you going to get her a sports car? Oh, yes. My little girl, she's so beautiful, she'll get whatever she wants. And of course, I'm kind of wondering what would it be like now after he's had the experience of changing diapers and feeding late nights and bottle feeding, whether he still has that same mountaintop experience that you want to hold on to. There's sometimes when the real life comes into and interacts with you. I had my own, and this is some personal sharing here, and just still processing it till today, but as many of you know, I was a hog farmer in a previous career, And that industry it's a tough industry. It has wild swings in prices and incomes. And so we were in a bad time. I actually think it was maybe around the time when we had that mad cow disease go through. And so anyways, those times were a little tough. And I remember one sleepless night just kind of in bed, you know, how your mind's going 1,000 miles a minute. And you know, kind of couldn't calm down, couldn't go to sleep. And, you know, worrying about things and wondering about things and, you know, just all those human things that we encounter every now and then. And I still had this mountaintop experience that I could feel this wave of peace. I don't know how to describe it. It just felt like a wave of peace kind of just flowed over me. And at that point, I knew everything was going to be okay. And there's no logical reason. Like, it was just something happened. And, well, I knew it was God at work. And as I sit and process that I wonder, and I firmly believe that somebody was praying for me at that point in time, and God answered a prayer and granted me some peace in my troubling time. Well, that's my own, and I would love to encounter that feeling again, but, you know, we have to come down to earth. But one other thought before I shut off here. I'm just still in the process of processing what I'm going to say for a sermon this week. But this whole concept of having two different perspectives in your mind, for Peter, he had a contact with heaven, and he also had a contact with earth, and he couldn't seem to comprehend the two meshing together. And there's a wonderful, you know, before I say that, you know, how often have we had that in our own lives? So there's two different perspectives. You know, I was talking about our conservative media and our liberal media, and it seems pretty hard to have two different thoughts in your mind at the same time, but it is possible. There's an author by the name of Scott Fitzgerald, and he had a quote. He's written many books. The Great Gatsby is the one that I am familiar with. But anyways, he made a comment that the sign of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposite ideas and still be able to function. And there's something in there. I don't know what it is, but this ability to have both an earthly presence and a heavenly presence at the same time, those thin spots, it seems inconceivable in your mind. And yet, that's what Jesus and Peter were experiencing. He wanted to hold on to the one and not let go. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that's going to go. But anyway, stay tuned for this sermon this Sunday, and we'll see how this one kind of works out. And yeah, just look for those things in life that gives you a different perspective. And here we are on our own snow mountain up here, the beautifully cleaned out parking lot. My messy, dirty car down there. Just a little different perspective on life. Anyways, hope you have a most blessed day. This is Ernie signing off from Preaching in the Real. God bless.